Well, 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 well. Good morning, good afternoon, and evening. It's Happy to Hump Day. It's Wednesday already. Doc from North America. And so let's see what's going on today. Let's see, what do we have here? Can we see that? I think we can. Yes, we can. And let's see. Let's take a look at. No, we're going to get rid of this commercial. There we are. Okay. You can see there, you can see the Swiss franc moving up again. Again, this is a conversation we've been having now since Mrs. Yellen was defined to be the next Fed chair. Not Fed chair, I'm sorry, Treasury, Secretary of Treasury. So that, we're seeing policies that we've already seen before coming back again. That means there's going to be they'll pay more interest in a world starved for return on equity. In other words, making a profit. We're starting to see those policies come back again. So they'll be paying some interest. Dollar will be strong. Like I said, platinum will outperform gold. All these basic things should occur. And that's what you're seeing here now. You can see when we look at the Swiss franc, you can see the way it's moving up. And then when we go over to J4X, you can see the same thing on the weekly basis here. Doing the same thing with the indicators that we use on the J4X. So when the white line pierces this little golden dotted line, there's an insinuation that it's going up in value. Vice versa, when it pierces it over here, you can see it's going down in value. And at the same time, you can see the CCI when it's being pierced by the white line. And it's rocketing with the white line up. There's a lot more strength into it. And then you can see over here on our Chicago Quant. Let's try it again. Chicago Quant right there. We've been in a weekly buy now for 3 full weeks. Now, they're really starting to heat it up. And we're going to go to that 90 area. All right. Oh, let me check the sound. I didn't even check the sound. Let's make sure we can hear me. Can we hear me? Yep, I hear me. Now, it's a telephony world. We try to make sure that we hear, making sure we're hearing sound and everything else, As I take a sip of some water here at the same time. All right, let's see now. Where do we go from here? Let's see. So we're seeing the strength in the dollar Swiss pairs, which is telling us that the strength is in the dollar. All right, let's just check out the euro right there. Same situation, strength in the dollar because now it is going down. Remember, this is a euro dollar pairs trade versus the Swiss is a US dollar saltine pairs trade. So in other words, when the saltine goes up, it's losing value. And in this case here, when the euro, because we're looking at the euro first, when this is going up, it's making, not losing, and vice versa here. So they're basically moving in the same direction. It just looks, or let's say they have the same momentum. It could be right, momentum. They're both losing value. How about that one? There we go. They're both losing value. And you can see we've been in a weekly sell since here. Let's throw that up on J4X real quick. Right there. And there you can see the euro against the dollar moving down, 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 down. Just like it is doing on our weekly right here. Down, 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 down. Now, we'll jump over to the British pound. And there it is right there, GBP. And wow, look how tight that is getting. But it has also done the same thing. Let's grab a red from over here and just put it over there. It went into the sell there. And let's widen it out. You can see the pressure on it. And then we'll go over to the J4X and check it out there. And this is the weekly. Just as you can see, our weekly is piercing the zero line now. The white line broke the time manifold this week. And you can see the pressure on it. And already being led by the daily. And then there it is right there. We're just starting to see that happen also at the same time on J4X, which is really cool. Now, I've been reading, I want to call them the GameStop vigilantes. I guess that's the best way to describe it. The people from Reddit and Robinhood and so forth. They're really hepped up on trying to pump up the sterling. And they don't understand that fighting with a couple of hedge funds is not the same as fighting with the central banks of the planet and the Federal Reserve. That is a whole new learning lesson for them there. You just have to laugh at the love of immaturity. And I've seen where people said, it is amazing. It really amazes me. They have said stuff like, we don't care if we lose our money. We're trying to make a point. I have no idea what point they're trying to make. That the Federal Reserve controls world markets? We already know that. That there are a lot of really uninformed investors. We already know that. I'm trying to think what else could they be trying to teach us. That they're going to have more influence over world markets. I doubt that. And at the same time, when you look at the stocks they all ran in and bought, way overvalued, they should have just taken their money and run. They pumped it up. They squeezed the funds, the hedge funds. The Federal Reserve was probably like sitting there just laughing at the whole thing, going, well, we know where this is going to go. It's just going to fall back. So now, like the GameStop, not counting Nokia and Bed Bath & Beyond and all these other AMC theaters, all these things that got beat up, they all got beat up on the short side. And then these vigilantes came in and they trapped the shorts, which is fine. I have no problem with that. And then the stocks exploded and they were long. Why didn't they take their profits? I mean, you long a stock at $20 and it goes to $450 to $500 a share. Take your profit. You're in the trading for making money. You're not into the markets to do some type of social issue. Wow, it just shows you the really, really bad education that people have gotten over the decades. Like the classics: buy low, sell high, or sell it high, or sell it, just sell it, and hope to buy it back cheaper. Just some of the basic mechanics of a marketplace. It is amazing how immature these people are. But, live and learn. We've seen many generations get crushed out of the market, and they've learned to go into like mutual funds and much more passive, less aggressive situations, getting a decent return because the central banks and the Federal Reserve in particular are trying to hold asset values up. And so if you don't get too fancy, but if you think you're going to be Antifa, financial Antifa or financial Black Lives Matter, and you're going to make a statement, you're going to go down in flames just like BLM and Antifa do already. Another sip of that water. So, yeah, that's crazy stuff. We saw yesterday GameStop, which is kind of like watching the Swiss franc in a sense, understanding the direction of things. These vigilantes from the Reddit and Robinhood universe, saw the product fall all the way down to like $85. It was trading at almost $500 3 days ago or 4 days ago, 2 days ago, I don't know. And now, it's lost all that money. And one of them's on there. He's lost something like $700,000. Well, I got my point across. It's like, you know what? Donate the money to a church or a civil organization or something like that. You want to get your point across. What craziness! I don't think anybody's learned from it more than the fact that we already knew the hedge funds are incompetent. They don't use. Matter of fact, they should refer to them as offset funds, not necessarily hedge, because I don't think they hedge themselves. They offset their risk. So in other words, they're buying allegedly offsetting products that will hedge them in some way, but not one-to-one, obviously. And, so they took it on the chin. All right, I've done my soapbox there, but in the end result is they've all fallen back down to their numbers. And all that lending by Citadel and a few of the others and Steve Cohen to these hedge funds that got their heads handed to them, if they held their positions, they're in the money. La, 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 la. They're back where they were. They're making their money after that $31 billion smack that they took. And that's where we're at. All right, let's jump over to Turkish Lira. That's where we usually dance our way over to after looking at the British pound. Take a look at it on J4X to start off with. Right there. These Turkish Lira's just been rolling down for a few weeks. It's line 15, is it? No. Line 17 on our fact check spreadsheet here. 11 days now on our mathematical sell. 7 weeks on our weekly sell. That's what they represent right here for those that might be newbies here. So that means that, let's see, we go back right there. You can see it, 7 weeks right there. Bang. And 11 days in a daily sell. You can see we mark where we went into it, and then we just watch each day as it goes if it changes. Just like when it went into a buy, we watched it, and it was in a buy signal, and we watched it, and it tried to flirt with a sell, and end result is it still stayed in the buy, and then we finally get in there, just like we did here. Went into a sell, we watch it. We don't 1 day, then 2 days, and 3 days, and 4 days. We just keep on changing the box until our math changes. Yellowfish, what's cooking? What's shaking, bacon? Let's see. It's been a nice bit of drama to start off with. Oh, it really has. I mean, really. And some of the things that come out of their mouths really are funny. Like they've made their point. They made their point that the hedge funds are a bunch of fools. We already knew that the hedge funds were a bunch of fools. I guess in an era where we don't have an open media anymore and news is not getting out, only here, you tune in here, you get real news. Tune in other places and you get platitudes and spin. So I guess these poor people need to pay attention to Doc and less attention to CNN and MSNBC. Or CNBC and Bloomberg. All four of them are doing their best to misinform everybody. Middle age. What's shaking? April live cattle at your convenience. Doc, well, hell yeah. It's always at my convenience. There is April cattle. Let's find Mr. and Mrs. April cattle. Matter of fact, we're starting to look at that. You can see that middle age. We got a rancher that asked us to look at 2022 April cattle too. He says that it helps him understand his feeders. So that's pretty cool. I guess a projection type thing. So there it is there. You can see it did pop up yesterday, but still stayed in the sell. We're going to give it a quick little refresh here. But it did stay in the sell. And but we're in that weekly buy. So you don't want to really go short in here. You can just take some profits from this winner chicken dinner there. And you did last week, I think you said. You started taking some profits out of it. So that's good. We'll see. This thing starts to turn up again. I guess they're going to go after another move onto the upside. It does amaze me that we're seeing the meats and we're seeing the grains, everything just roaring up. It is a surprise. Here, let me just show you, since we have it here. Let me show you what 22 looks like. Now, our weekly didn't fill in on that yet, but there's the daily. And you can see here, this is yesterday's close. This thing is trying to get into the daily buy here today. It's going to be interesting to see. And then when you look at the April of 21, right there, it hasn't done that as much yet, but it did move up. They both moved up. But you can see our strength in here with the weekly. So, hope that helps you there. Matter of fact, he's looking at deck corn too, if you want to see what deck corn looks like. Let me do this while I'm here. I might as well save this too. So that's, what is it? That is, let me just double check. Let's pull that down. Yeah, so that's that one right there. So we'll save that. And then let me just go back to the other one and save that also at the same time since we're here. There it is right there. And then I'll show you that deck corn that he's been paying attention to. The whole thing is curious to me. The world must be starving because they are reaching for our grains and our meats and everything else in sight. So, all right, let's go over to the deck corn right there. And you see here it flirted with the weekly sell, bounced off of it. It's just like the regular, the March corn. A little sloppy in here, but it kept it in the sell out of all this mess. That's why we use a 3.5 on this thing. And then you can see it jumped into the buy there yesterday, and it's a little bit higher today than yesterday on the corn. And that must be perplexing a lot of people. Now look at that. That's at 410 in deck corn, the back month, right? I mean, look at the contango to that compared to the March corn trading at 539, a whole dollar difference. Wow. 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 What else can you say about that but wow? Is that, like a, not scary, but that's a, well, I mean, if you're buying back corn, let's just instigate that again. I mean, the $4 corn in December, I guess that's, that's new crop. They don't have any idea what it's going to look like, Yeah, as the Middle Age says, yeah, okay, yeah, took some profits and still holding in a few calls. Yeah, that's why the binary way of trading options is the best. You go and you turn them into spreads, and you got your decay compensated a lot for, and you're looking at the intrinsic more. And isn't that something though? Deck corn, $1 plus underneath. I guess where are we at now? We're in February, beginning of February, and so I guess we'll get a flavor of what they think weather-wise going into late March, maybe? I guess that's when the Weather Bureau and so forth starts to give us some predictions of what they think the rainfall is going to be like and so forth, and so we'll see from there. All right. Did I save this one? Let's just make sure we save this one too. There we are. And actually, it says deck 22. I think it's not deck 22. It's deck 21. I must have labeled it wrong. I don't think. Let me just double check. Am I looking at that far out? Yeah, see, it's 20. You know what? I might have put in there December of 20, not December of 21, but 22. Okay, so that's interesting. I'll have to talk to Robin about that. Robin, you here? We'll have to double check that because we're looking at December of 22, not December of 21. I just realized that. All right, let's see. Where do we go from here? We'll go back over to the other side. We were looking at currencies. Unless anybody wants to see more in the commodities, we'll do that. I jump around wherever you want to go. So there's Turkish. Now we go take a look at Canadian. And you can see Canadian is trying to lift up again. And you can see the, I'm going to change the color there. Make that greenish. There it is. Trying to get into the weekly buy. Went into the daily sell yesterday, I think it did. Let me see. What is that? Line 20, right? No, it didn't make it in there. Now, why didn't it make it? I know I was supposed to put a 1 in there. So this went into a sell there yesterday, like that. Oh, let's move that in the wrong spot. Let's just move that over and get rid of it. And went into the sell there yesterday. Because I'm almost dead sure we sent it out as a sell also. I remember that. So let me fix that. Right there. There we go. And so the Canadian is trying to perk its head up. I guess that's kind of usually negative for oil. And we've seen NASCAD. What did NASCAD do? NASCAD is in a daily sell also. So maybe they're going to put some pressure onto the oil market. We'll see. That could be it. Yellowfish says It would be interesting to see what Amazon stock does with Bezos announcing his stepping aside. I would imagine up. Not anything too exciting. I mean, remember he owns half, his wife owns half. They control a good slice of the company. He's got other things to do. I imagine he's bored by now. I've seen him change his lifestyle enormously over the last decade. I have a few friends that hang out with him. I guess a couple times a year they get together. They went to college together at Princeton, and you can see he's lifting weights. He's eating healthy. He's got a new girlfriend. He's into a lot of things. I've seen him at the Institute a few times. I'd imagine the company will do fine. It's the second biggest retailer out there. I think that he'll probably always have some type of influence, and I think the second in command is now going to take over as chairman. I don't think there's going to be that much of a change in the sense of they decide to sell mood rings or something like that. I have no idea, but I don't think there's going to be much of a change. I think it'll do fine. Let's see. Yeah, Robin, was it supposed to be Deck 22 corn or Deck 21 corn we're supposed to be following? I'm confused now. Looks like I might have put Deck 22 corn up there. I think he's already focused on Blue Origin. I know that he's been talking to people at the Institute about it and involved in it. And it's a nice technology. I think it's just as competitive as the what's his name, Elon Musk's equipment. They both land the same way. The capsules both look a lot alike. Bezos is designing his to be a low orbiting tourist device. What's his name? Elon Musk is built for heavy lifting to put things in space. Anything's possible at this point. I really think that the real adventure is the moon. Putting a base there, traffic between the moon and the Earth, and development will be jump-off points to other places in the solar system over the next 20 years. That's the way I see it. Yeah. He was a real. I have friends that hung out with him in college, and they still communicate and hang out, and not hang out much, but I mean, because he's a very busy guy. But he's in Princeton a lot, and he visits, friends, and they hang out, and a lot of people with that stature do that. They stay with the friends they had. They don't usually gravitate too much to new friends as much as they stay with old friends, because they know that the old friends were friends with them before they were worth millions and billions, and that's a lot easier to deal with. So, I would imagine he'll be, his complex is much more sophisticated than Elon Musk. He's bought that West Texas property, Bezos, and he's built a spaceport there, and he's got a mountain complex inside the mountain, and he's done the whole 9 yards of a James Bond film. So I think he's been involved in that a lot more than people realize. And Blue Horizon looks like a really good ship. It does some really good stuff, and it's designed to be commercial for tourist industry. So that means people or light science projects in mid orbit. Or just on the edge of in the satellite area, basically. It's going to be interesting. I wouldn't be too. I don't think we're going to see too many surprises. Or let's put it this way: I won't see too many surprises. Maybe the public will, because they didn't realize what he's involved in. So that is where they're at now. So there's Canada. Let's take a look at NASCAD. We'll take a look at the oil market, thinking that the oil market is probably starting to. Well, look at that. NASCAD is trying to lift back up again after just one day in a sell. So we're seeing the strength of that right there. And that is usually, a strong NASCAD is usually a sign of strong oil prices. And I think we went into a buy on oil yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, right there. So oil, what is that? So oil is 1 day in a buy and 10 weeks in a buy. So we should be seeing some strength out of that. Let's take a look and see. Well, let's take a look at the oil complex itself. So right there, yeah, it's unchanged, I guess. You know, a little up and firm. Can we reload that? I guess I have to hit the Control R. So oil itself looks firm. You know, it's not roaring anywhere in particular. Look at it. Actually, we're getting a little volatility signal as we speak. And where did the green dot go? What was that all about out of nowhere? I swear they piled data in, did this stuff overnight or 2 days later, and it's crazy. It makes no sense. Matter of fact, when I did the recontrol, they put data in just in the last hour and a half out of nowhere. Data came in for the day, and has taken, I guess it's taken that into the minus, which makes no sense. I'm leaving it in the buy. It was in a buy yesterday. It's staying in a buy. I don't care what data they added to it. You know, it's late. It could be 2 days old, that data, and they all piled it into 1 day. Who knows? So I'm just leaving it as a buy. It's in a buy, and I'm just going to put another line here just to emphasize that at the same time. Let them both be there. I really don't like the way the CFTC is allowing this to go on, but welcome to the 21st century. 17 trillion in minus return. What else is new, you know? Honestly. The games are afoot, as Sherlock Holmes would say. All right, let's go over and take a look at natural gas. Last night it had zipped into a buy, and then I guess it was yesterday. Yesterday it closed in a sell from the day before's buy, and now it's flirting again with the buy there. So we can put I think they put in more data there too. Let's just refresh that. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we can get rid of that now altogether. All right, it's the way it rolls, and it's just down a little bit, and it's in its daily sell, and it's not playing with the buy up there anymore. They seem to come in and put new data in before the opening of the day. It's really weird. And let's save that. So there's natural gas. I guess it jumped up more than anything else because of the snowstorm in New York City. That was probably the thing that pushed it and gave it strength and energy. Now let's take a look at bean oil. And there it is there. Let's give it a refresh. And that's just moseying along on the downside, but the weekly's been in a buy since late October. And we'll see. You know, we've been in a daily sell for a bunch of days. So, but it really isn't going anywhere. But that is another energy product because you can burn the bean oil. I mean, and you can commingle it, just like the ethanol thing with the corn. So let's put that in. So that's a look of our energy complex there. Now, let's see what else we look at here. So that we've done the energies. I guess we go over to the metals. Now, we can take a look at, what currency pair more than anything else. I always think of sterling, the British pound. And you can see it's just kind of gliding. And actually, let's just take a look at British pound real quick again. You can see British pound, playing with a weekly on the downside. You can see the daily getting pressed down. And so, we'll give it a refresh now. And so we're seeing at the same time, I think we're seeing the metals complex. We've seen silver go into the sell a couple days ago. And there it is there. We'll give it a refresh. Now we're perking it up as we speak here now. Saw an incredible story. They say that the mints in the United States are starting to, getting thin or low in metal, in silver itself. But that stuff is going on. And, we can see here the vigilantes tried to pump it up. That's what that big pop was. But they learned that the Federal Reserve and the central banks are way more powerful. So right now it's firm today, but it's not going anywhere. That's for sure. And you can see at the same time the weekly has been pressing down, and they just cannot get this thing to roll. Now let's take a look at gold. Gold doing the same thing. We'll give it a refresh. And it's, just kind of moseying along, going nowhere. And this one, gold got pumped up a little bit from it, and it failed. And then, let's see. I was looking at the platinum. Robin was saying to me, as a broker, he only wrote like 5 or 10 tickets for platinum. He says barely anybody trades this product. But it's always interesting to watch. You can see it's also firm. It's also in a sell, but it's in the weekly buy still. As much as it broke the time manifold 2 weeks ago, it's still in a buy, holding up, fighting to try to stay firm. And you can see the sideways action as gold is falling down. So we're looking at $1,106 platinum, and we're looking at 1838 gold. So that is $732 a spread. So it keeps on drifting down from that $1,000 spread-wide market. And we think it's going to be in the 6s and the 5s before you know it. I think this is a Yellen spread, without a doubt. The policies are going to be conducive for platinum outperforming gold. Doesn't mean either of them are going to go up. It just means that I think the platinum will outperform it. And the end result, I would imagine, they kept the metals down during the Yellen era as Fed chair, and I would imagine they will do it again with her being Secretary of Treasurer. And so that is, see, did I save that? Let me just double check there. So there is the gold. And then we'll go back and save the platinum. Right there. And then we look at copper. Copper, I was really surprised they pumped you would have thought that they would have, I don't know, you're going to be a silver vigilante, you would assume you might be also a copper vigilante. But copper's been trading at near, highs, so I guess maybe they don't even know about copper. maybe these Reddit and Robinhood people have no idea about copper. They just figure it's a penny and they don't pay attention to it. That could literally be it. They don't realize that they're kind of made from the same jib. And there it is right there. You can see, yeah, I put that line in there earlier today looking at it. It's showing some strength here today. You got a little volatility signal going on. We're playing with the weekly buy after just 1 week in a sell. So that is, and you know what? As the pairs traders, wouldn't have surprised me if they sold copper as gold was going up, and then vice versa, start buying copper silver goes down. So they might have paired themselves against each other. That would not surprise me any. That would be a lot more logical. All right. Now we'll drift over to anybody want to see anything particular? If not, we can drift over to the stock indices and or the currencies, ruble and so forth. Just name it. We'll look at it. So there's the Nasdaq 100, or Dukascopy. It's the Tech 100. I'll show you the Tech 100 here. Right there, Tech 100. And over here, I see it on the weekly. Is it filled in? Yeah, there it is. So there's the Tech 100. That's what the Nasdaq 100 is. And you can see here it's showing a firmness today. It's moving up. We're playing with our weekly buy already again. There's going to be a melt up in this market before there's a melt down, that's for sure. There it is right there. We saved it. And then let's drift over to the S&P 500. We'll give that a refresh also. And that is also doing the same thing. Showing some strength in there. Now, somehow or another, that was plus last night. Now it's minus. We're just going to leave it alone. I'm just tired of the data coming in 24 hours later and they just change it. No more than an hour ago, it was still plus, too. And so we're just going to leave it like that. And that's how we're reading it. That's why we put these lines in to help you read it with us. And you can see here, we're already flirting with the weekly buy number there. The line is through the zero line. The histogram is through the zero line. Let's see. Robin says platinum strength is sign of economic activity. Yeah. Oh, I saw this thing, Maddie. I'm really glad you said that, Robin. I saw this thing in Zero Hedge, where I guess on the continent in Europe, there are people out there cutting catalytic converters off of cars with some type of steel saw. It takes them 90 seconds to cut the catalytic converter off and go. And so that's a big thief ring going on in Europe, stealing catalytic converters because they have platinum in catalytic converters. People might even drive around not even realizing. I guess, no, I imagine some of the lights on the dashboard would tell you that something's wrong. here, something's going on there. So yeah, there it is there. S&P 500 showing strength. Yeah, you need to check that. Did you caught that before, right? I'm putting up December 22 corn. Is it supposed to be December 21 corn or December 22 corn? I think I'm confused on that one. You want to double check that? And then let's take a look at this is the offset that we really think was part of the whole adventure that buried all those hedge funds. As I really thought that they were buying the Russell and then shorting the daylights out of those stocks. Now you can see here we're playing with the daily buy at the moment. It's got a little volatility thing. It's a red and a green, but you know, that's what's going on there. And still in a weekly buy too. And then we'll look at the Dow. The Dow, you know, it's kind of, you know, it's the old gray lady, I guess you could say, you know, of the indices. So, oh, okay, now they're starting to put some life into it. And we'll put a little green line up top right there, like that. And then, so we'll save that. So we're seeing a little bit more life in it today. But you can see the weekly is still having a hard time getting rolling along. Is it supposed to be 21? All right, I'll switch that around. I'll make sure I switch that. Interesting. 22 is discounted by $1 and change. Let's see. Now, so that's the four. That's the four indices. So we've done the metals and we've done. Let's see. What's this? Robin says, been happening here for a long time. Oh, what? Stealing catalytic converters? Yeah. I'm glad I live in the country. I guess they're doing it in the city or the dense suburbs. You know, where you can. Zzz, boom, gone. I say it takes 90 seconds to cut it off. So a minute and a half. I wonder what it. You know, you would. I guess there must be quiet cutters. Wow. Okay. Good to know. And then, oh, if you see somebody underneath your car, bummer. Yeah, trying to steal your catalytic converter. All right, so that does that. Now, I did look at the interest rates, which I thought was kind of. Oh, you know what we do? I know where we go. We go to Bitcoin and take a quick look at the Bitcoin. There's February Bitcoin, and it's showing an attempt to go into the buy. Our weekly's still in a sell from last week, and we'll see how that rolls out. It's been interesting to see this product in the back months, and I guess it is on the 8th. We're going to see another futures contract being used by the Chicago Mercantile. So we'll have two different. New trailer. Okay. They're into corn and soybeans. Excellent. Chase, like in Chase Manhattan Bank. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that one too. Thank you, Robin. Let's see what else we got here. I was looking for the news. I have it here somewhere. Where a CME group. There it is. Ether. There it is. I'm going to bring this up on the screen here somehow. Let's see how we do this. There it is right there. You can see it. They're going to be, you're going to see CME Group is going to start futures in Ether. There it is. Coming February 8th. Resources needed to get ready to trade beginning February 8th. contract will join e-futures and options as part of a CME group. Okay, so we'll see that start to happen. That'll be interesting. And the symbol right there, CMA CF Ether dollar reference rate, right there, ETHUSD, which underlies the futures themselves. Okay, so there we go. We're going to have another, looks like we will have another future. Maybe better than the Bitcoin in the end. I'm not sure. It's very hard to tell, but that Bitcoin is, yeah, there we go. Yep, that's the one. So we're looking forward to that. It'd be nice to see a little competition of the cryptos, you know. And then let's take a look at the interest rate factor. I guess what we're doing is we're flirting with the sell today, and we're playing with just see where plot 1 is minus and plot 4 is minus. So no, plot 4 is actually plus. Isn't that interesting? And so plot 1 is minus, and that is so small a difference. Isn't that amazing? But we're looking at the plot 1 on this because it's just the gas 3, nothing else. That's why. Okay, it's gas 3, so the plot 4 is different. That's what it comes down to. So we're just watching plot 1 on this, and so it's the minus there, minus 0.00052, and so that's where we are with the 10-year bond. Let's take a look at the 30-year bond, see what the 30-year is doing. This is where the rubber really meets the road, you know, when it comes to figuring out where the dollar's going. I mean, if this thing's going to go down, that means interest rates are going up, which puts pressure on the dollar to go up in value because people want to own something that actually pays some return in it. You know, I mean, I know that you just watching the GameStop vigilantes and their mental prowess or attitude about things. They really don't understand the markets too much. It's nice that they're investing, but the idea of losing tens of millions of dollars just because to get your point across, I don't think there's a point to be gotten across that we already know as experienced traders here. We know the hedge fund industry is all screwed up. We know that they're not that bright. They're just better salesmen than other salesmen. That's all it comes down to. The best salesman wins. It's got nothing to do with being the best trader. Because no one would put money in their funds if it came down to their ability to trade. So that's where we are with that. So I guess Reddit and Robinhood people are going to start to learn that the hedge fund industry is full of a lot of salespeople, more than they are traders. And the key word there is hedge, the lack of, and that's why they get their heads handed to them so much. All right. And that is the look of the stock indices, the oil market or the energies, and the interest rates. And one crypto. And next week, we may be seeing a second crypto on there, which will be really, really cool. I'm looking forward to that. All right. Let's see. What else can we go after? Anybody see anything particular they'd like to look at? We can take a look at the some of the stock indices, how they've been treated over the last 24 hours. We can see some of these other indices, not the future indices, but we can see here SPY is trying to climb into the buy here today with no problem. That's live there now. So we'll put a little green line in there like that. And you can see the weekly is trying to turn right back up again, just like the stock index future is doing. And then we'll take a look at, this is the Dukascopy's Tech 100. It's doing the same thing, only it climbed into a daily buy yesterday. And give that a save. That's the QQQ. And then that Russell we look at, this is the Russell right here, and it's doing the same thing. It's trying to climb up again. Money is trying to pour in. They've got to do something with it. They're supposed to make money. When investors give a fund money, they're hoping that they'll make money with that money because they're supposed to be smarter than the average investor. And so that's what we're seeing there. Now, the dollar index, this thing must be jumping up. be jumping. Yep, it's jumping. Let's give it a refresh. It be jumping. Right there. Did it do it? Let's try it again. There we are. There we go. And you can see it's in a weekly buy. It's in a daily buy. The pressure's on. And if we, this is to go back to it. If these interest rates, there's the 30-year bond, they're in weekly sells. I'm not sure why I see it. Went into a weekly buy last week, back into the weekly sell there. And what's the 10-year doing? Let's just take a look at that 10-year one more time again to compare it to the UUP. Now that went in also into a weekly buy and is playing with the weekly sell. So, when this thing is going down, interest rates are rising. And when interest rates are rising, it makes the dollar index go up in value. And that's usually the way that works. So that's what we're seeing here is the buying in the pairs, or I said that was my headline yesterday. Dollar pairs, or buying in dollar pairs. That's what it is. The dollar is going up because the interest rates are going up. That's the policy of Mrs. Yellen, and that's where we're going to be going. And we're going to right back to that 2004 to 2008. Was it 2012? No, wait a minute. 2000. Mrs. Yellen was Fed chair. Was it 2010? I think that's what it was. 2010 to 2016. I think that's how that worked out for the 6-year tour, position. So 2016. So 2022 we'll have another Fed chair. Maybe we'll get blinder. Let's just jump right into the fire from the. Could you imagine blinder finally being Fed chair? I guess that's no one's probably talking about it. I didn't even think about that. Blinder will probably be finally. Oh my God, he runs the economics department at Princeton for decades, and he's like a cross between Bernie Sanders and what's the old labor secretary, Robert Reich. They are socialist galore, So that will be really funny. Didn't even think about that, traders. We may be thinking about something no one's talking about. Blinder might finally become Fed chair. That would be wild. They've tried to make him Fed chair, and he's gotten blocked many a time. But right now, with the way things are, he could become Fed chair in 2022. It's possible. That could be really wild. That may be why we're starting to see firmness in the dollar even more. It's not only Yellen, but having Blinder at the Fed and Yellen at the Treasury. Oh my God. They may hand out jackets that have hammers and sickles on them at the same time. Honestly, they may just change the symbol of everything. Get rid of that crazy dollar sign and put in something like the hammer and sickle. Oh my God, I never thought about that. I don't know anybody's even thinking about that. Doc may have just had an epiphany. Blinder probably has the best shot at being Fed chair. He was the vice chair for a long while. They tried to get him into that position, but the Republicans, kept him out. And I had a friend that went from the trading floor. He was a Dartmouth grad, an engineer. And when he got bored with the trading floor in the 90s, he went back to education and got his PhD at economics at Princeton. And boy, he just could not say enough bad things about Blinder. He said that Blinder has full control of that department. If you don't think of progressive socialist ideas, you don't go anywhere in that department. And then and then he jumped out. Got his PhD and he left, and that was it. And obviously steered clear of being a prof there because he didn't agree with those things. Now he's the economist now for the world's largest bank, the Option Clearing Corporation, the OCC. He's the economist for them, and that I think we've come across something, traders. Blinder. I didn't even think about that. Oh my God! No wonder we'll probably see pairs trades week for a quarter of this decade now for the next 3 to 4 years. Don't be surprised if we find you're scratching your head and going, how come it's not going up? Isn't the dollar supposed to collapse? You know, all those people saying dollar's going to be weak. You know what? If Blinder is in the wings to come in as Fed chair, baby, it's going to be inflationarily interest rate driven strong dollar. That's what it's going to be. Okay, let's see now. Where do we go from there? Oh my God, I feel like I've just like won a prize. Oh my God, Blinder. I never thought about. Oh my God, you can't believe how much my head is messed up by that just now. Blinder finally becoming Fed chair. Holy moly. I don't think there's anybody else on the D side that can besides, that's in line. I think that's it. That's the protocol. Blinder will probably be it. Oh my God. I guess you heard it here first. And a year and a half from now, when there's talk of Blinder being Fed chair, we're going to be laughing to ourselves going, go tune in back to 2021 in February. We were talking about it then. All right. I'm off the crazy now. I'll move away from that. All right. So where do we go from here? We just looked at. Did we save that? I think we did. Let me just double check. Let's save it again. And so that's the UUP. That's the ETF. That's like the DXY. Only it's an ETF, just like the IWM is for the RT and so forth, or the QQQs are for the Tech 100. All right. Now, no, I took the wrong thing down. There it is. Now let's. Oh, I know it is. I did save it. Yes, let's do that. I'm like knocked over with a feather. My goodness, Blinder. Wow, that's really freaky. Never thought Blinder was going to get in there. Wow, world is upside down. All right, now let's take a look at. I know what I want to do. I wanted to close this. That's what it is. There we go. And then let's take a look at the ruble again. I think what did the ruble do yesterday? Did it go into the sell? No, it's 12 days now on a daily buy. So that pressure is on because the dollar is going to be paying a lot more interest, and that 17 trillion of negative return in assets across the planet, might start to run towards the dollar even more now. My God. Wow. Interesting times, that's for sure. Okay. Oh, let's see what the Zlotys doing. Zlotys such a solid little currency, isn't it? Poland has really kept themselves economically solid. Look at that. Compared to, say, the Turkish Lira, they both were at 4.5 at one time together, and here we are at 4.5 now in the Zloty, and the Turkish Lira went to 8.5, doubled. Ooh. All right. Actually, we talk about that once in a while, and some people probably forget. At one point, when President Aragon was prime minister, when he took over, it was 1.5 to the dollar. And then through his policies and so forth, we've seen the Turkish Lira go from the 2 area to the 8 area. So that has been his driven force to raise that in value, or lose value, I guess it is. Lose value. I mean, he's been trying to devalue their currency a long time now. All right. Let's see. Where do we go from here? I'll take a look at. We'll get rid of that. And let's open up the currencies on a different screen. Right there. Let's take a look at. Right there. There it is. Robin Forex. And there's the Canadian. Yeah, see, Canadian, we had it in the sell there yesterday. That makes sense. And it's flirting with the buy there now. It's giving us the little volatility thing. And it's playing with the weekly. There it is. Let's give that a refresh. Luckily, the currencies are much better with not hiding the amount of data, which is really nice that comes in every day. It makes you want to just stay in the Forex universe, knowing that the technical analysis is much better, or let's put it this way, the data coming in is much better than it is in some of the other areas, in the stocks. Well, stocks are fine. You can see it. Our stocks don't change. They don't pile them in. At least I don't see it that much. Maybe we don't watch the stocks anymore. There's Aussie yen. That's interesting. It's flirting with a buy again today, so we'll put that up in there like that. It's been in a weekly buy for a while. let's give that a Control R. And then we've already looked at these two here, and that is the euro right there. Oh, let's look at the yen. I haven't looked at the yen in a little while. There's the yen. It's in a weekly buy here, somewhere right around there. 0, 0, 0, and yep. So it went into the weekly buy there. Let's throw that in there, right there, and we'll just change the color to that and make it solid. So the yen has been in a buy. Let's look at the spreadsheet there. That's line 19. So yen is 4 weeks in a buy. 1, 2, 3, 4 exactly. You can see the daily. It's been excuse me. It's been the daily since that volatility signal kicked out here 2 days in a row, and then jumped into the buy there. So it's been a nice winner chicken dinner. It was interesting. It went into the buy here too, and that was a nice little win also. And then it started to sell off, and then it went into a buy here and it lost it. And so there's an actual loss out of the 3 there. And then, boy, did you make your money back tenfold from there, from that little teeny weeny loss. And there is the euro, as we looked at earlier. It's going to have some problems with Mr. Blinder in there, that's for sure. I imagine they have some organized policy. It's a global policy. I'm sure that it won't be too wild and woolly, but there'll probably be just a slow drumbeat of strength in the dollar now. You know, if nothing else, that's probably going to be a very low, quiet, underlining theme for the. Well, look at that. It's starting to actually flirt with it now. Might as well put the little circle in. You know, that will be the underlining theme probably now for the next couple of years, is a stronger dollar, especially with the possibility that Mr. Blinder is going to be the Fed chair. And I would imagine I'm trying to think, I don't think there's anybody else in line besides him. He is he's the favorite of the D's for that. They really like Blinder. Like I said, he's a cross between Bernie Sanders and Robert Reich. So between the two of them, and then Blinder, put them in the middle. Boy, is that a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Let's see, right there. Alrighty. What else we have around here to look at? So there's just a quick look again of the currencies. And the good old, I guess, there was it. That's the Swiss franc. So the Swiss franc, you see, I'm going to line 21. 3 days, 3 weeks, okay. So it's 3 full weeks in the buy there. Change that to that, and that, boom. There we are. And it's been what? How many days now in a buy? That's line 21. 7 days in a buy. So it's, we now have a better grip, and this is what's really good about asking questions and instigating me to think. Because what happens is that I start to pontificate and suggest ideas, and I start to realize certain things could occur. And in this case here today, I guess you could say, I guess the title should be is, will Blinder be the next Fed chair? I think that's what we're going to label this as. Let's get this documented. How about this? Something like, strong dollar and Blinder as chair. Something like that. I think that's really what it comes down to. That's going to be the title of it today, our webinar. Strong dollar and Blinder as Fed chair. Yeah. All right. So anyway, traders, this is Doc from North America. We will catch you again on Thursday. So happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to our Forex friends.